Hi everyone, and welcome to another stream with Azure Greg. And tonight I'm delighted to say joined by Sandra Schneider Dragon. Hopefully I've pronounced your name wrong. Right, sorry. Hi Sandra, how are you?
Hi, Greg. I'm actually quite well. And yes, I don't know how many times you are talking to a dragon, perhaps a lot of times.
No, this is the one and only time. Apart from talking to you, I don't know any other dragons. How have you been? So you used to work at Intercept. So before we go any further, how have you been since the last time I spoke to you?
Well, some lot of things had been changing. That's true, correct. I had been working in Intercept, but I left the company. So I hope everyone there is doing very well
Yeah, I'll ask
because
them for you.
that's good to know. And I joined another company. Normally, Gregor, you are the person that asks the questions in the beginning. But I thought today maybe we changed that a little bit.
Oh no, oh dear.
No, don't be scared. I'm not scary. Not at all.
Not at all.
Not yet. The point is, I want to know what do you know about SAP, about SAP?
So before you asked me, before I asked you what you wanted to speak about, and you said SAP, I was like, I know absolutely not even one thing. I couldn't even tell you what SAP stood for. That's the extent of my SAP knowledge. I don't even know if you call it SAP or SAP. Like that's so. I had to Google this. So it stands for System Applications and Products and Data. So not a single thing.
To be honest, when I changed my role, I'm the head of sales for the Concircle GmbH and the Concircle GmbH. I was the
Yeah,
same.
I'm busted.
Yep. And to be honest, it's not uncommon because people that know me for a very long time were saying, Sandra, you are working in a kind environment for SAP or in SAP related environment. That's a match made in hell. Over the last 4 weeks, I learned, no, it can be a match made in heaven. And
Good.
why? Okay, let's do a little bit of an exercise. You know, I'm always in for that. And by the way, this happens for the people that go me on my nerves.
Oh, I like it.
Use a lie. I love it. Cheers. For the guys and girls in the stream, this is water, not vodka. Okay. Usually SAP is an ERP system. So basically, in the production environment, you get an offer and all of this production begins to start. You get basically the opportunity to build something, to configure something, to set something in order, and it follows a very rigid setting. People who know me, and Gregor, you know me quite well, know that this is definitively not how I work because I'm quite creative. Fortunately, the company Concircle I'm working for is as creative as I am.
Oh, that's good.
And they did something fantastic. Gregor, would you do me a favor and put up the Concircle link for ConOS?
Yeah, let me just move my screen so I can share it. Let me bear with me 2 seconds.
Yeah, just like a good cook, we prepared something for you.
Yeah, let me just, I'm prepared, but I'm making a mess of this. Right, hang on.
No, it's fine. In the meantime, I give you a little bit of a heads up. Sometimes SAP can be very rigid, very strict in their environments. And especially when you try to plan your production, it can be a little bit difficult. Let's go a little bit back in time. When I was a young girl, yes, it was when the time the dinosaurs roaming the earth, so it's a little bit of a time ago. Planning looked like a big chalkboard with the names on one side, the machines needed to be used on the other, and some date written by hand, and this was all day, every day. You can imagine if you try to plan or schedule a planning for people, for workers, for tools, or even for work environments. that is not a good option to build it, especially in supply chain or logistic environments, because you need to plan a little bit ahead. When is the machine ready? Are there any scheduled maintenance windows? Is the person available, or is it on sick leave or on holiday or whatever? Could you scroll a little bit down on the webpage? Gregor, thank you very much, my dear. Stop. This is actually how such a planning tool for machines and people and workspaces could look like. And you see, it can be, even if it's modified like that, it can be a struggle. And now the problem is, within SAP, you need to very strict fill in the forms correctly. Otherwise, it gives you out a kind of not working well. All right, let's scroll a little bit down again. Yeah, here we go. What this makes it so easy, and that's why Connors is one of my absolute favorite products. It's an add-on for SAP ERP. You basically can use a drag and drop motion to put the right people on the right workplace with the right tools. And there is no need you fill in manually typing like that into a form, and God forbid you forget a comma or something, then you are screwed. So yeah, that's why that was actually one of the things why I joined Concircle. Only between the two of us. Do you know why the other option, or why I joined especially this company? Can you imagine? It's based out of Vienna.
Nice. Your favorite place?
Absolutely. Well,
nice.
Scroll a little bit down, then you see why it can be really helpful. You know, these visualization options here can be used the same as in every normal single CRM system or planning tool, but as well, it looks a little bit, we see it here when it comes again, into like a calendar form. So it's very easy to schedule and to see who you are. And also, even if it looks a little bit messy here on the page, you see directly where you are going and where the tools are used and where you have an over or an under capacity. So this is extremely important. My personal visualization is definitely the calendar option because it's the easiest way for me to understand it. And of course, the cool thing for the people who knows SAP a little bit, we scroll a little bit down. It's based on the modern UI 5 interfaces, which is quite important because it's the latest version. And the cool thing is the Concircle add-on works on-prem as well as in the cloud. And thereby there is no issue which cloud. So you can use a private one and you can use any public one. Makes life much easier.
Sounds good.
Definitively. And one thing, it's mostly, as you see, Concircle itself is usually in the supply chain and logistic part environment, but also in other types like consume industry or text or fabric industry, or also pharma industry. But could you open the configure environment? Because this is the second one, which really, really blew my mind. Imagine the following scenario. You are working for a steel or paper company. And every single time you get a roll of steel, you have a specific length, you have a specific thickness, and you have a specific mixture of this steel. It needs to be a specific type of it. Usually, if you try to type all of this manually into the configuration tool for the variant configuration, it's a work not of art.
I can imagine.
Because it takes a long time, even if you know what you are doing. And our tool do something amazing, because basically you type in 5-6 things and the rest it configures out automatically and build it in order. So you do not have to mess with this.
Nice.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, that must save a lot of hassle.
Here you can see it. So this is something really unique for the wood or plastic or steel industry, mostly because they have so specific standard and standardizations, but also a lot of variants of their products. You cannot imagine how many steels you can buy. That's definitively something that blew your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But talk enough about Concircle. When I joined Concircle, I was talking to our founders, Konrad and Florian. And they were talking, we were having a chit chat, and I was like, well, I think you need to know something. I am autistic. And Florian and Konrad were like, okay. Farhang, he is as well one of the members of the board, was like, okay, do you need any specific accommodations? And I was like, no, but sometimes a cup of coffee, and I'm quite well with that. And probably some adjustments of the light, or I'm sitting here with some sunglasses. So why this is important? I know a lot of people out there are scared. Companies saying, we can't find people. And I'm standing there, open your eyes, they are in front of your nose. The only thing you need to do is accept that these people are not the norm, are not filling or be able to put into a form. It's like our variant configuration. You need an accommodation. You need a configuration to accommodate them. So this is something we need to consider. And actually, I'm very happy that Concircle do not use inclusion and diversity as one of these marketing blasting buzzwords that really grind my gears all day, every day, because I read them quite a lot. But instead they say, hey, we want to make Concircle a company that understands their need for their people and their people's need to do their best. May it be with a special program. Fun fact, all of the Concircle programs are user-friendly, and also most of them, at least we tested this with 2 currently, can be used with a special tool for people that are unable to see very well. So they can use this reader, they can be connected to the Concircle add-ons, and they work well. I'm fairly sure that as SAP is putting diversity and inclusion also on their priority list, they do the same. But I'm not sure for that. You need to ask them.
Yeah.
But back to the autistic environment. As most of you know, I'm not only autistic, but also I have ADHD, which literally puts my mind in the following state. Nothing should be changed, autistic way. I need to rechange my whole furniture at 3 in the morning. Probably not at 3 in the morning, because this would be the best idea. But in the work environment, it's sometimes these people are overseen. Either because they do not fill any type of norm, like they didn't went to a university. To be honest, did I ever went to an university? No. No. I used to get my master's degree on a second way, which is possible in Germany. If you have a long-term education in a specific field, you basically bypass the university.
Right.
But you need to write a test and all of that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Then, yeah, but we need to work 9 to 5 in the office. Why? Is it a necessity? I mean, to be honest, if my manager doesn't trust me, it doesn't matter if I'm in the office or not, because I don't have the trust of the manager, regardless where I am.
Good point. Yeah.
So fortunately, my managers are very cool with that. Okay, we have an office beside in Austria, where our headquarters lies, also in Slovakia, where our Slovakian dependence is, and also in Switzerland, and obviously also in Germany, in Munich, where I am based normally. What does this mean? I mean, am I in the office right now? No, I'm in the home office. Does this my manager know? Oh, obviously. Does he have an issue with it? No.
Oh, good.
Not the tiniest bit. Usually when he is in the office and all my other colleagues are there, obviously we all in the office, but for this week, one is at customer side, the other one is also out of the office, so I'm out of the office as well. These are things that are accommodations that are easily to provide. because it costs you nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
The only thing that you need to have as a management or as a lead is the trust in your people. And to be honest, that is the minimum that you need to have for your people. You need to trust them, because otherwise, why did you hire them in the first place?
Yeah, no, that's also a good point. Yeah, I agree 100%.
So, do I have a lot of accommodations? No. Do I need them? No.
Yeah.
Is there an issue? If somebody says, hey, for me, it's too much. The light is burning my eyes. I feel like I'm run over by a bus, to work from home instead, or from a silenced environment, or take out some time to recharge. I mean, it doesn't. That's exactly the point. If the things get done, it's irrelevant. But please say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah, there's not enough. There's not enough of this. Yeah.
How often do I hear and read, we can't find people, we can't find somebody who do the work. And if you dig a little bit deeper, then you learn, oopsie, it's not about that the work isn't done. It's most of the time that somebody considered his setting the straight, only, and unique way to get the job done. And then you are literally screwed. So as I said, I was very fortunate. And I'm more than happy and glad that Concircle gave me this opportunity to be the head of sale, saying, well, Sandra, we know you know a little bit about SAP, but you are definitively a greenhorn in this field. And to be honest, I'm more than that. I have absolutely no idea. If I ever thought Microsoft has a knick-knack for acronyms, believe me, SAP has the same.
Oh, is it? Is it as bad?
No, it's not bad. But do you know what CTO means?
Do I know what, sorry?
CTO. CTO.
In terms of SAP?
Mm-hmm.
No clue. I don't know. Honestly, I know very little about SAP. What does it stand for?
Fun fact. We were in a meeting together with the founders and our board members of board. And we were talking about SAP. I was learning about that. They really dig down to explain how these processes are called. And then there was a box written on the whiteboard, CTO. And I was sitting there. What on earth is he talking about? The chief technology officer? That makes no sense. It means custom to order.
Okay.
Or configure to order.
Right, okay, yeah, that makes sense for ERP stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't have got
that. I was sitting there like that.
I don't like 3-letter acronyms, because I'm always like, you don't want to be the person going, what does that stand for? Because everyone else knows. But like, usually you find 4 or 5 people going, nah, I didn't know that either.
No, Konrad, our founder, was sitting there and he was like, Sandra, what's the matter? You are sitting there like, that doesn't make sense. And I was like, what do you mean with the chief technology officer? And he was like, no, it's custom to order. And I was like, okay, that's definitely not in my convent.
Yeah, so a couple of people make some very good points. Yeah, working full time, I would agree with this. Yeah.
Definitively. And we had a good laugh on that. And we already have them all day, every day, because usually I pinpoint the things out. Fortunately, they learned quite quickly. Talking to me, it's way more important to give me the right information than use any acronyms or shortening something, because this creates 100% what?
Yeah.
So this was my daily expressions over the first 2 weeks when I was in Vienna for the onboarding. We had a good laugh on that.
Were you in Vienna for the onboarding, were you?
Oh, yes, nice. I do. I were. Currently, I'm between Vienna and Munich, because obviously I'm based here out of Munich normally. Yeah, come on, I love Vienna. And it was actually one of the major points. Yeah, well.
Good.
I considered it.
Did they have an office in Munich, or is it just you
Yes.
working from home? Oh, they do. Right,
No,
cool.
we have an office here in Munich, very centralized at the Leuchtenberg Ring, which is directly available from the airport very well, as well as from other parts of Munich. So it's quite centralized and very well to receive. But obviously, I prefer the Vienna office more. I haven't looked at that.
You'll be working. I can imagine you'll be working out there quite a lot. any excuse to go there? Yep, I'll go.
Well, not at all, but sometimes it is easier when I'm not at customer side or on a meeting or a conference which coming up over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, the biggest one will be in November in Düsseldorf, the SAP Connect, which is the largest SAP conference here in Germany. And it's also the partner conference, so this would be quite cool. 2 days of a lot of information, a lot of knowledge sharing, and a lot of networking. So that will be a fun experience.
That sounds good. Hopefully not too many acronyms.
Probably it will be, because all of them think they are very well versed for many, many years in the SAP environment. And for me, it's like, I need a dictionary.
Yeah, I always think if you ever worked at Microsoft, they should have an acronym dictionary, because it's just, you speak to them and you're like, what?
Yes. And to be honest, I had been working in Microsoft in the past, and even if they were 5 years of my life, I had been working for them. I never learned all the acronyms. And if today a Microsoft person is talking to me because I'm very well working with them together, it's like, could you do me a favor and tell me what you want, and don't talk in short notices with me, because that's not going to happen.
Well, let me ask you about your onboarding. How long was your onboarding? Was it a couple of weeks?
A week, a very well set week.
What kind of things were you doing there? What were you meeting the teams and learning all about SAP?
When I had my conversation, if I'm joining or not, I was in Vienna. They invited me over. I talked to the team. I talked to the management, because my role had been specifically created to build up the sales momentum within Concircle. Right. So this is especially in Germany. So they are breaking into the German market. Obviously, they still have some German customers already also on the page. You can see that in the references. But obviously, they want to do more with them. And that's why my role had been created. And obviously, I learned about Concircle's history, why they made a decision to go to Slovakia, for example, or to Switzerland. And also, I had basically a 2.5 day training on SAP. Why SAP, what SAP, and why not SAP? No, actually, I could never imagine really enjoying working on in such an environment, because it's very strict, very clearly, very rigid, in my opinion. But fortunately, we have some tools, and that's why I'm working there. And would I change it? No. When the recruiter approached me and she was like, it will be with SAP. Do you know what I firstly answered? No, thanks.
No. Oh, really? And then you learned more about the company.
And she was like, no, hear me out, please.
Well, just as well, you did let them hear you out. Yeah.
I mean, the recruiter did a great job on that. Dilara was really amazing. And I was like, okay. I was not convinced. I actually was convinced when I talked to the team the first time, to Farhang and then later to Konrad and Florian, that they really know what they are doing. And they gave me also the impression that they like me and want me for what I can bring on the table, not for what I need to play in a role, which a lot of companies asked me to do. And I was like, no, if you can't handle me, that I'm talking with my hands, that I sometimes make really bad jokes. Come on. And drink out of the glass of my enemies. Then we can't work together, because even though we are in a serious business and really talk about deals and improvement for companies that are in a massive momentum for work and also for their future decision making and for their future well-being of a company. I always love to be my authentic self. This can be that I say, okay, guys, I've been here since 8:30 in the morning. It's now 6:30 in the evening. No, I'm not willing to go to any other knick-knack talking because I'm done. I need my resting time.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I get that.
This is something they were completely fine with it. They were completely in order with it. And they even asked, hey, Sandra, are you able to travel? Could you go on customer side? And I was like, yeah, no issues. We can do that happily. And also in the serious business, which we are working as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you try to build up an SAP environment or modify it in any form, you need a big chunk of money. It's not,
yeah,
cheap.
It's not cheap. Yeah. It's mainly for large enterprises, is it not?
Not only large enterprises, but especially companies that are working in specific environments like wood industry or metal industry. Especially, imagine, I mean, couple of years ago, I think 3 years ago now, we had a pandemic that literally rocked the world and shake it up.
Yep.
And also, if you see the supply chains that are working there, they were basically ripped into pieces in less than a week.
Yeah.
It literally trashed. So the building up resilient supply chains that work and also be strong enough to withstand another shaken up, it's a very crucial point.
Indeed.
And for example, if one of your supplier can't deliver your tool, your wood that you desperately need to build up some furniture or whatever you need, or paper, or I don't know, or probably in the chemical industry, some chemicals or some one-time use gloves or something, then you are screwed in a hospital. Literally, you are done with the day. And these are things that needs to be taken very seriously.
So when you're talking to the recruiter and then you start talking to the companies, do you ask them about diversity and inclusion when you're being interviewed?
Within Income Circle, yes, because I was very open to them. I told the recruiter firsthand, and I also told Concircle firsthand, because when I was looking for a job, it was very crucial for me to not mask myself, to play a role that I can play for several hours, but I was not willing to do that. And to be honest, Intercept was a crucial point in my career, because they were very eager to live this diversity and inclusion and not use it only for a marketing, like we have a diversity month.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely important for me, for my next company, to be on the same page, that they do not have an issue with when I say, okay, I am who I am.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about that, right, I think that's the best thing about you, Sandra. You're always Sandra. You know, you don't put a mask on. You don't hide anything. You tell people, and I think that's the best thing. People will either like it or they won't like it. You know, but you're always the same. You're not hiding behind anything. You're not telling people. You're always open and honest, which I think is kudos to you. So yeah, I think that's the right way to be. But I can imagine that some people, when you're interviewing, that probably doesn't go down too well. Have you ever come across interviews where people just speak to you and think, no, has that ever happened?
It happens quite often. And to be honest, it's more common than you ever think. Because imagine, if you are a very open person and say, hey, I'm autistic, I have ADHD, and sometimes there will be moments where I definitively be completely full in my mind. I'm sorry for that.
Yep.
This also means that the person opposite of you get a hint. Wow, she is unmasked. But on the other hand, and probably people who are in this call currently or will watch it later on,
Yep.
and are on the neurodiverse spectrum of any form, will agree with me. Masking is extremely exhausting. You can do it. You can play this role. You can play this neurotypical role, do small talk, be there, try to engage with people as much as expected in a way that is expected.
Yeah.
It costs you a hefty amount of really.
I can imagine. Yeah, that would tire you out.
And this you do not have for anything else. There is a theory of spoons that you basically have a certain set of spoons for the day, and if you are run out of spoons, you are basically crashing. I do not like this analogy quite well because obviously it's not only exhausting for me, but if I'm me, I have enough energy to do my work the best I could. Will there be days where I can literally turn the PC down and go back to bed? Oh, probably there will be days, but there won't be an issue. But if you are masking, at a certain point, you do not only play this role, you begin to lose yourself. And a lot of neurodiverse people do that. And if you look into the statistics compared to other adults, the mortal rate of a neurodiverse adult between 20 and 40 is about 30 times higher than a non-diverse person. Then this is something not only concerning, that's a disaster.
No, it's a disaster. Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, that is definitively a downside. I mean, I'm very fortunate. At some certain point in my life, I learned, and believe me, it was not a fun learning, that it's better that I be me than playing a role where at least I am not myself for a certain amount of time and well-being, because at a certain point it gives you definitively some serious issues. You do not want to deal with that. Literally, you don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the tech industry, we are fortunate enough and probably blessed enough, or whatever you want to name it, that you can be quite authentic, be you, as long as you are able to contribute to your community in any form.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's something in other environments like banking, finance, or also very like probably other companies or other industries that could be more difficult, because you have a certain expectation, and sometimes you can't stick to that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, or mention, I remember when we went to Austria and we also went to Stockholm and you were doing talks. Now, I like the fact that you are very kind of handsy and you're very animated, and you're yourself when you're doing talks. But do you think it'd be quite easy to just put a mask on and not be like that? Or do you, I know you personally aren't like that, but I think I really enjoy when you do your talks because you're funny and you're energetic and you're authentic is the word I'm looking for. Do you find that difficult, or is it quite easy to slip into putting a mask on and just being prim and proper type thing? And what was your thoughts on that?
Giving talks or speeches at conferences, actually, it's easier for me when I'm me, because I'm extremely nervous before that.
Oh, another feeling, same here.
Nobody thinks about that. But if I talk with my hands or I can walk around, this soothes me, so I can really focus on the wording, what I want to bring to the audience and what I want to talk about. And if it's something passionate, it's easier. Putting up a mask and being very reserved, very strict, and literally in a distant way, sometimes it needs to be done.
Because it's not you, though, is it? It's not. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to ever do that. I wouldn't. If I saw you doing that, I'd be like, "That's not Sandra." Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes it's been expected, especially in very traditional environments, in very conservative environments, this is something I can do, but it takes a lot of effort. And also, you always have the feeling something is odd, especially when you know me a little bit better.
Yeah.
Then you always have this resilience, this resistance in this conversation, like something is not in order. Do you know this gut feeling when you are talking to a person and you have the feeling that is not the right thing, that there's something you cannot grab really?
See, I suffer from the opposite, where I would like to walk about and express myself, but I'm just like, I'm scared. I'm so nervous that I'm just standing there going, do, do, do. Like, yeah, I suffer from the opposite of that. So that's interesting. And I find that once I've given a talk, I am like done for the rest of the day. Like, even when I do workshops sitting here, by the time it's finished, I am just about useless. You know, I am stressed and tired and just like. So when you say you wear a mask when you've had to do that and it's wearing on you, that's kind of, obviously I'm not wearing a mask, but I feel the same. I'm absolutely dead. Like at the end of it, I just can't. I'm done for the day. So yeah, I'd love to be able to stand up and walk about and then be all like, you know, all energetic and stuff, because people relate to that. And I always watch when you're giving talks, I always looked at the crowd. The crowd were always smiling and bubbling and laughing. Like when I'm giving a talk, they're all sitting like, because they're looking at me and I'm just rigid. But I find it really difficult to be anything but that, because I'm just so nervous.
Yeah, well, actually, my grandma gave me this tip very very long time ago. And she was like, well, I know you don't like people look in the eye, and look them here between the nose, not here in the frontal cortex, because this makes them uncomfortable. Look them here above between the eyebrows onto the nose. You cannot show the difference, but it helps a lot. And it helped me a lot through my childhood, because looking people in the eyes was definitively something I hated.
See, when you said you get nervous before it, I was quite surprised by that, because you're actually amazing at it, and you don't look nervous before it. You know, you certainly like, I'm like, I don't know, like me, I'm walking up and down and I'm drinking lots of water and I'm really nervous, but you were just like standing there having a laugh at people, and then you would just go.
Yeah, actually, I can channel it, my nervousness, into such things. So it eases everyone. So it eases myself, and then we can start. So that makes life much easier.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do that, but fortunately I can do. And also I have here at my laptop, I have my cord, my power cord, and onto the power cord there is a small ring where I can literally play with it when I'm in meetings or something, so I don't get distracted.
Yeah.
But
that
yeah,
was like, do you remember we went to Vienna and we gave out the steak things? Remember that? So tell people about that, because I thought that was awesome.
Exactly, that's the point. A lot of people are neurodiverse. Either they know it and don't say it, or they do not know it, but be happy when we give them something to play, something to work their hands with, so they feel a little bit more at ease, instead of doing what you are expected, sitting there, fully the face on the person. And honestly, if I need to do that for like 20 minutes, yes, I will do that, but don't expect me that I hear anything you are saying, because to be honest, no way. I'm zoom out instantly. So that's why I say, hey, let's walk around, let's talk a little bit, move a little bit, give something for the hands so people are at ease. And yeah, if I give workshops all day, honestly, I'm done as well.
Yeah.
What I can do is usually 1 day workshop, and then at least a day to recover.
Yeah. Same.
Administrational stuff and no phone calls. But hey,
when we used to do a workshop and then fly home that night, I would be like done. I'd be sitting in the plane sleeping, because I'm physically and mentally just done. I really liked when Lisa brought the things that we gave out to the crowd, because people were like playing with stuff while they were listening, and they seemed to enjoy that. That was quite an interesting thing. I'd never even thought about doing that before.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, if you give something to do something with their hand, the mind doesn't get distracted and you listen way better. That's why actually the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, always, if they needed to have a very serious conversation where he really needs to get a message delivered to a person, ask them to go on a walk for him. It works like
Okay.
charm.
Interesting. So, I always remember when I asked you about your interview, I always remember getting interview training at a previous job, and they never ever talked about diversity and inclusion and things like that. Do you think that's more common nowadays, or do you think interviewers still, a lot of people don't know about this stuff, or they know about it but they don't really understand it? Do you think that's still
Well,
an issue?
I think it's both ways. A lot of interviewing companies are either not aware how great the neurodiverse people are, how yes, they bring things up and probably they shake up your environment a little bit. But for me, it's always a very dear friend of mine always said, she is a physician, and she always says, friction causes warmth. And that's true. Sometimes a little bit shaken up, a little bit not fighting, but a little bit of traction goes a long way. And sometimes you need to probably review your own goals or your own work ethics and see the ableism in it and change it. On the other hand, it's still, when you are filling out some forms like, do you qualify for a disabled person or something like that, there is a lot of resistance saying yes, because people simply fear that they were sorted out by this, like they were not good enough.
Yep.
They never get a chance because
Exactly.
as in the beginning I said, they do not fill this normal form that somebody in his mind, and in that terms it doesn't matter if it's a male, female, or anything in between, that a person decided this is the norm, that they need to go for it. Yeah, it would be basically the same if everybody needs to be 2 meters tall and blonde hair, blue eyes, and I don't know, the guys need to wear a beard and the ladies needs to have 2 buns over there, like space buns, like in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine some of my colleagues with space buns. No, thanks. That's definitively out of my imagination.
What was I going to ask? Do you think these are still buzzwords that people don't understand?
Yes.
I mean, how when I go to conferences, right? I always think there's certain things that I think are missing in most tech conferences. Getting started in things like GitHub, where you learn to do basic stuff, and I also think diversity and inclusion is never really. There's There's very little of these subject matters being discussed at these conferences. Do you think there should be a track on that, and do you think that would be quite popular?
Actually, for me, this whole waving flag of diversity and inclusion, it's not an accommodation, it's a bloody human right.
Yeah.
Everybody should live the way they could and do the most out of their life. And if they need a broad door because they are in a wheelchair and need an elevator to go to the 24th floor, why not? I mean, if we include everyone, and if we don't do that thoughtfully, we exclude people out of life. And this is something
Absolutely.
we shouldn't do that. And that's definitively nothing to talk about. Yeah, but accommodation and yada, yada, they are basic human rights we are talking here about. If I'm not able to move, and to be honest, let's turn the tables. Imagine the following scenario. You have a broken leg. It's in a cast from your toes up to your rear end. Literally, the whole leg is in a cast. You are working on 2 sticks and basically could not even walk to the living room. And then your partner, your co-worker comes in, rip open the door. Good morning. We are going for a walk uphill the mountains. no person that has a little bit of sanity in their mind would request you on 2 crouches climbing up a mountain. Everybody would ask you, are you have been gone mad?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
kind of dizzy? Did you smoke something that didn't been good? But on the other hand, people in neurodiverse spectrum are expected to do this without the blink of an eye.
Yeah, not complain about it and stuff. Yeah.
Because it could not be seen. You do not wear antennas or have a purple nose or something. So this is extremely crucial to understand. We are not talking about much fancy things. We simply talk about human rights. And if you try to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is literally fighting all day, every day, to get these hints between the conversation, you know, these polite conversations. Oh, yes, darling, bless your heart. I'm fairly sure it doesn't mean that somebody is blessing my heart.
What do we do to make it more? I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. More popular or not popular? But how do we educate people a bit more about this?
First of all, learn where your rules are. Do not educate somebody on something if you are not comfortable in your own skin talking about that.
Yeah.
And when children or young children actually, oh, why this lady is in a wheelchair? Do you know what often people say? Oh, go and ask her. Why?
Oh, yeah.
You can simply say, well, somebody's legs are not working properly and they need a help. That's a wheelchair. So this whole pity putting, oh yeah, I'm so sorry that you are neurodiverse. Do you think you can cure your autism? Who on earth said that I wanted to cure it? Yeah. Why do you see it as something bad? Or tell me that, oh yeah, you are having autism. First of all, I'm not having it. Because to be honest, it's not a scarf that I'm wearing or a hair stick that I can change. I am autistic all day, every day, 24 hours. Yeah. And having something means I choose. Did anybody ask me? No, nobody asked me. Yep. So simply accepting a person the way it is, like I must do it with all of the people around me, would be a quite cool setup. And not being forcefully asking, are you disabled? Do you identify as disabled? What am I supposed to say? Yes, I do not feel disabled because I have no idea how I would feel as a neurotypical person because I never had been a neurotypical person in my entire life. It makes no sense.
No. So what about moving on a little bit? What have you got any holidays planned? Did you have any holidays between jobs, or have you done any traveling?
Well, I had been in Paris.
Nice.
Yeah. Visit some museums. You know, I'm a history buff, so the Musée des Invalides was absolutely amazing. It's actually the history museum of Paris with a lot of military history environments from basically the colonial times up to the First and Second World War. Really, really beautiful. Okay. And then I went to Italy, to Bolzano for a couple of days, simply relaxing, enjoying Italian food. Isn't there any more relaxing than be in Italy, enjoy good food, and leave you?
I've still not been to Italy. Must go. I'm going to ask you for recommendations at some point when I go to Italy.
You can happily do that. You know, you are always welcome. And awesome. Obviously to Vienna a couple of times, not only for work, but also for fun.
Good.
Yeah, museums and me, and very nice pastry, Viennese coffee culture.
Oh, the coffee.
And I'm a very happy girl. And yeah, this was about it. Probably, maybe but over the next couple of months, I will be traveling to a lot of conferences, representing Concircle, representing the company, hopefully doing a lot of cool, great business with Azure, on Azure, and also probably with Concircle and SAP on Azure. That would be cool times. Yeah. How about you?
Looking
Will
forward. Yeah, I'm off next week on holiday. This is my first holiday of the year. I'm going to Portugal for 4 days playing golf. Looking forward to that.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Not had a holiday this year, so that'll be good. And then back for a week, and then I'm going to Prague for Experts Live. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, that'll be amazing. I hope you find Lisa there. I think she has a speaker slot as well.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I'll take some pictures.
So for the people here in the call and also watching this later on, if you can go to Expert Live or see the recording, probably you will learn why a snake needs a data lake.
Yes.
And if not, you should ask Lisa about it.
Yes. We need to try and record the session, or at least go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, and then in November I'm going to go to Seattle for Ignite. That'll be good as well.
Oh, the Ignite will be in Seattle again?
Yep, it's in Seattle. Yeah, I quite like Seattle. It's not the biggest place in the world, but it's nice to see it. And then I'm going to go with I'm getting to go with David and Fabian. So they've never been to America, so that'll be good. They're looking forward to that. So
that would be amazing. Seattle is really cool to explore, even if it's not Ignite all day, every day. Sometimes going a little bit on the sidewalk, it's quite nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Listen, Sandra, thank you very much for coming on. It's been absolutely great seeing you again. It's been great catching up. Good luck with your job going forward. Maybe we'll bump into each other at a conference or something like that. That would be amazing. Yeah.
You do that. And now you learned a thing or two about SAP and Concircle.
Yeah,
so probably we join forces again.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about either of them. Just before you go, next, I think I'm not back until the September the 12th, when I'm going to be joined by Christian Lechner. And he's been doing a lot of stuff around Azure Functions. He wants to talk about the Azure Developer CLI and more other Azure CLIs as well. So looking forward to that. So I'm not back until a week on Monday. Sandra, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy your job and have a nice weekend once it appears. So just hang on, and I'll speak to you before you go. But I'll just say bye bye to everyone, and then I'll catch up with you in 2 seconds. So let me just do this.